All right, guys, welcome back to Fantasy Football with McLovein. Finally, it's been a 2-week hiatus. I'm back from Tennessee.
Welcome.
Yeah, obviously, you guys know that I was worried whether or not I'd be fine for my job. Well, I'm fine as of now, so thank God. And we're back. Real quick, I know you guys, before we get to the loyalty part of things, I know I owe you, some of you out there, gift cards and shit that you won when you beat McLovein or won whatever it was for. The issue is, obviously I was in Tennessee. I've been back for about a week now in Massachusetts. My car is dead. There's something to do with an electrical draw that's draining the battery. It's not the alternator. It's not the battery. It's something else. And my car has been in the shop for about 2 days now, and I have no idea what's going on. Still haven't called me on what's wrong with it, which is not a good sign. So, at some point, I will mail that shit out to you. Yes to anything that's cool, awesome. He can attest. When I promise something, I'm usually extremely punctual about it. And the fact that I'm not punctual about it now is just an aberration. Everybody say hi to McLovein. Doesn't he look sexy in that suit? Look at that sexy guy in that suit. There he is. All right, so I know you guys, loyalty. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. I appreciate you putting your picks down. We've come to the conclusion, unfortunately, because none of us kept track, from the Peon division or Steve Goldman. Steve Goldman's in our division, right?
Yeah.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
We're not counting the last 2 weeks. You guys could have had horrible weeks. You could have had great weeks. I apologize. They don't count. They count in your own heads that you're football wizards of knowledge, but as far as reality does, it doesn't. So we're going to pick up from this week for the rest of the year, and then we'll tally everything at the end.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's go right into NFL news, okay? Let's talk about Green Bay's defense, okay, or offense, which is worse right now?
They're both pretty bad right now. The defense just cannot stop anybody. Cam Newton in Carolina just rolled over them. They were passing the ball, 80-yard passes. They were running the ball at ease. Cam was showing why he's the leading MVP candidate. And the game against Denver was just an absolute shit show. They couldn't do anything against Denver's defense. Nothing. I think Rodgers maybe had 70 total yards, which is terrible. And to back it up, the first half against Carolina was another atrocious half, and they dug themselves a deep hole, tried to get out of it in the second half. But when you're down by 26 points, even though you make a nice little comeback, you still end up falling up short. They still had a lot to do. They had to score and get a 2-point conversion. It just wasn't going to work. So what I think is defensive coordinators are figuring out how to take away the weapons that Rodgers has, and making him focus just on the tight end. He's going to Richard Rodgers a lot more. What's his name? Randall Cobb hasn't done shit in like 4 or 5 weeks. James Jones, same thing. They're shutting down those guys. Lacey has been a non-event pretty much all season long. Starks is still playing well, but this is not the same Denver team. The same Green Bay team that we saw week 1, week 2, week 3, week. They were rolling, and now they're not even in first place. They're tied for first place with Minnesota. So they're in a lot of trouble, but they have the necessary components to get out of it. And you even see them on the sidelines. The guys are pushing each other, punching each other in the face. So there's a lot of things, and this is what happens when you lose games is people start focusing on all this stuff, this bad stuff, and the only way to quiet everybody is to start winning games. And they have the talent there, they have the quarterback there, they have the head coach there to rebound. And luckily they start off so well that they have a couple weeks where they can play like shit and then rebound. So we'll see what happens going forward. Early on they were the best team in the NFC. Now not so much, and they're showing some some chinks in the armor. So we'll see how it goes going forward.
All right, now the Patriots president, NFL could discuss expanded rosters. Patriots president Jonathan Kraft acknowledged that the NFL could discuss expanding rosters during its next round of collective bargaining talks.
It would be a unanimous vote for all the teams. They would always take more. You always would use more people on your roster. Right now, you have a 53-man roster. You only get to dress 48 for every game, so there's always a number of inactives. The more guys you have, and a great example of this was last year's Super Bowl, okay, where Coach Belichick had the choice between who was the running back, Jonas Gray and Butler, Malcolm Butler, for the last spot, that last 48th man, and luckily, thank God, he chose Butler because Butler played in the match. So it comes down to that at the end. I mean, obviously, you have your certain core guys there who are going to dress every game, but those guys that you need in special teams, that you need in special situations. That the 48-man roster goes pretty quick when you start talking three, offense, defense, special teams, backups, everything like that. So I think. It'd be great because it gives them the teams more of a cushion, and but it also takes away the strategy of getting the right 48 guys out there, and so I would like to see it happen. If not, then they know how to do it the way it is. So we'll see where it goes.
All right. The Vikings, Teddy Bridgewater suffers a concussion versus the Rams. Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater took a hard elbow to the head in the fourth quarter Sunday against the Rams and was diagnosed with a concussion.
Yeah, I saw this play. He was sliding. The defender came in, and he actually got a double whammy. He got hit in the head by the defender, and then his head bounced back. And, he was out. You could see he was sleeping. The concussion protocol, it's so difficult now that they're always going to err on the side of caution. So if he doesn't pass anything this week, then they can't play him. It's just they have too much liability. Too much liability. This guy goes on the field, he dies, he has another concussion, and he's fucked for life. So I would say as of right now, unless he passes with flying colors, Sean Hill will be the quarterback. Now Sean Hill's my guy.
Sean Hill's 800 years old.
Sean Hill, me and Sean Hill used to drink beers at Hooters all the time out in San Francisco. Sean Hill is the nicest guy in the world. He's down to earth. Love Sean Hill. Glad he's still in the league. Great backup. He'll be able to do a lot better than a lot of these backups have done this year for other teams that their starter goes down. But Minnesota fans out there, be encouraged that if Bridgewater is not ready to play, that Sean Hill will be ready to step in. So,
all right. Source says Big Ben has foot sprain out a few weeks. Ben Roethlisberger suffered a mid-foot sprain in Pittsburgh's victory over Oakland on Sunday, and is expected to miss a few weeks. The source told ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Yeah,
Schefter.
I watched this play. His foot got rolled on by another defender, and Big Ben's a big guy, so he has big ankles. And when his ankles snap like that, sprain, it's almost better to get a break. Sometimes those sprains are worse than breaks. Anyway, it's something that happens in the NFL. I mean, it's happened to all these teams, all these top players, Eric Foster to Forte, to Lewis, to all these guys having ACLs out for the year, Le'Veon Bell, Roethlisberger being hurt, Romo being hurt, all these guys being hurt. It's part of the job. It's part of NFL, and the thing when you get injuries in the NFL, no one feels bad for you. Not one person from other teams feels bad for you because they're dealing with the same issues. The Pats' offensive line is they're down to like 5 guys. So no one goes through the whole season without any injuries. The great teams are the ones that can still win with their backup players, and that just is a great reflection on their front office, and how the way you win in the NFL really is getting those guys, those backup, because those are the guys that you're going to need in those clutch situations that haven't seen a lot of snaps during the year, but have to come in and act as if the starter's still there. For Pittsburgh specifically, now that they're down Le'Veon Bell, D'Angelo Williams had a great game last week, and so did Brown, and he had over close to 300 yards receiving, and that was specifically because Roethlisberger was back and you get him the deep ball. Obviously, you saw what the 3 or 4 weeks with Michael Vick in there. Brown wasn't touching the ball; he wasn't even seeing the ball, no target. So I think Pittsburgh was taking a step forward. Now they're going to take a full step back until Big Ben, recovers. And then now he's coming off of 2 big injuries. So Ben on 1 foot and 1 arm is still better than anything either Landry or Vic. So it's gonna hurt, and they just have to try to ride the ship, and then hope when he comes back they still have a playoff run.
Packers, Clinton Dix, Peppers, and Raji scuffle on the bench. Green Bay Packers, Julius Peppers, HaHa Clinton Dix, and B.J. Raji involved in sideline scuffle.
Yeah, and I was just talking about this earlier. Clinton Dix was, mouthing off to Peppers. They were going back and forth. Raji took offense to something he must have said about the defensive line or something, so he pushed Dix, and this is all going on the sidelines. And like I said, when you're used to winning every week, and then you don't play well 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row, then you guys start getting mad at each other and start pointing each other out. Like, he should have done this better, he should have done that better. And it really comes to service. It looks bad. It shows your fans that your frustration level is at the point where now we have to blame each other, which is not Green Bay football. This is not how they're usually. This is not how they usually go about things. They're usually very, very professional and get the thing done. And now, the way that they're pointing fingers at each other doesn't show. It shows inconsistency. It shows that they could pop off at any time, and it shows that they really don't have much confidence in their defense as we speak. So it's going to make the responsibility that much more for Mike McCarthy and the defensive coordinator to get these guys on the same page.
All right, the sources say that Patriots tailback Deion Lewis has torn left ACL. New England Patriots running back Deion Lewis has a torn ACL. Sources confirmed to ESPN, which obviously we now know is correct.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. I mean, he was a huge part of that offense. Running the ball and catching the ball, the backfield, very shifty back. Makes a lot of guys miss. Very reliable. Early, he had fumbled a couple times, and they took care of that. Great passing, catch. He can run an out route. He could run on a hook route. He can catch the ball coming out of the backfield and stride. He did a lot of things for that offense, and with the 1-2 punch with him and LeGarrette Blount, as a big back, the short yardage guy. We're going to see what Brandon Bolden's were, and James White. We're going to see what they have left in the tank, and obviously they're not as good as Lewis, because they would have, if they were all healthy, they chose to play Lewis, and Bolden, and White was even inactive for a lot of games. So we're going to see what they have to offer. I think what I'm more. It's not so much Deion Lewis, but it's that offensive line it's really dwindling. It's like every single week another guy gets hurt, and they're patching this thing together with duct tape. I think as long as you have Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and Edelman and Amendola, they can still utilize that pass game as a run game. So I'm not as much worried about losing Lewis. But they got to secure that offensive line and keep Tom Brady upright. If not, then show's over.
Lions Caldwell says, "I'm not a dead man walking." In his first news conference since the general manager and team president who hired him were fired, Detroit Lions coach Jim Caldwell insisted he is not a dead coach walking. The funny thing is, Martha fired him, and Martha had a press conference about the firing.
Really?
And she's not as old as we think. She's probably in her 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
She hot?
Nah, not horrible for a 60-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
So, what's his name? What's his name again? I'm fucking tired.
Jim Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell he's done. he's done. And he really hasn't done much. He has no case. As we've talked many times about the
Colts even got rid of him.
Colts got rid of him. He went to Baltimore, won a ring there with Baltimore as the offensive coordinator with the Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. He's just a bad head coach. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He just, he was clueless on the sideline, didn't know the rule book when the defender, pushed the ball out of bounds, and he was just sitting there holding his balls and had no clue. He's just not there. The team's done listening to him. I don't think they, then the whole thing with telling Stafford that, if he throws an interception at the beginning of the second half, then he's going to get benched and blah, blah, blah.
Which actually happened.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that it's bad. He's done. They've fired everybody but him. I think, they'll keep him throughout the year. Their season's over. They have no chance. They might as well ride out a bad season with a bad head coach and then start fresh next year.
Okay. Bills tab Enem Kapali as a co-captain versus Jets. Now, Bills coach Rex Ryan confirmed Monday that IK Enem Kapali,
it was the guy who broke his jaw.
You got it. Will be a co-captain this week against the Jets, 3 months after Enem Kapali punched quarterback Geno Smith in the Jets locker room.
I think it's Rex just once again has us talking something in the media. It doesn't mean anything. I think it's going to hurt Buffalo if you trot out the guy that knocked out their quarterback. And actually, the Jets are lucky he fucking knocked them out. They'd probably be slapping his hand because Fitzpatrick's done a lot better than Gino would have done. So, blessing in disguise. They can take it as whatever they want to view it. They could be pissed off. They could be happy about it. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a coin toss. He's just out there as a captain. He's still not a very good player. It's more of Rex, putting on that show, and then once the game starts, the Jets will beat them. They'll cover the spread at 2.5. So I think it's just all Rex being Rex again and just trying to put on a show rather than win a football game.
All right. Broncos Aqib Talib suspended 1 game for eye poke. Broncos cornerback Aqib Talib has been suspended for 1 game by the NFL for poking Colts tight end Dwayne Allen in the right eye in the closing minutes of Sunday's loss.
Yeah, I mean, 1 game he should be happy with 1 game. It should be more than that. A player should never, ever, ever, attack another player, especially poking them in the eye. Your eyes are valuable, more valuable than you think on the football field. And to poke a guy in the eye, there's no room for it. He should be suspended more. There should be a hefty fine. Aqib Talib, he's been in trouble his whole career. He came out of Kansas. I remember he was a top 10 talent, but he fell in the draft because he had so many off the field problems. He starts to fight at the rookie symposium. He shoots his mother, or takes a shot at his mother with a gun. He gets involved with this and that. He's always involved in trouble. We stopped that trouble when he came to New England. He bought in. He drank the Kool-Aid and kept his off the field troubles. Off the field, he's been a lot better, but that's really not saying much because he was so bad off the field. But, he still has that punk in him. He still has that ghetto in him. He still has that, that
thug life.
That thug life in him. And, when you piss him off and you know how to punch it, push his buttons, he's going to poke you in the eye. And he still has that child in him that, he doesn't know how to deal with his anger and his frustration.
Vikings Bridgewater passes first test in protocol. Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater passed the first test in the NFL's concussion protocol after getting hit in the head in the fourth quarter Sunday against the Rams, Coach Mike Zimmer said.
Yeah, like I said, the prior article, he's going to have to pass a number of tests, and because it like I said, the liability on the team, he has to be passing with flying colors. If there's any question, if he's 90% or 87%, whatever the fuck, he will not play, and it's not because they don't want to win the game. It's not because they don't think he could win the game, even being at 90 or 87%. It's because if he gets hit again and he goes down, there's going to be a big lawsuit on there. Their family's going to sue the NFL. They're going to sue the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to sue everybody in their mother.
Protests outside the state.
So exactly, they had the whole shebang. So they're better off, just if he's passing, then he passed, and then the liability is still there. But concussions are scary. They're fucking scary, and I think Minnesota's handling this the politically correct way, the right way, going through all the tests, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. If he's ready to go, he'll be ready to go. Like I said prior in the videos, the doctors, that's their job. So if the doctor said he's ready to go, then he's ready to go. If not, then they're going to have to wait another week. So I hope he plays, but if not, Sean Hill, my buddy will
they're handling the mascot thing politically correct, too. They have a bunch of politically correct things, these Vikings. You remember the mascot?
Oh, yeah, the fucking...
wanted $1 million?
Yeah.
Rams wide receiver Bailey suspended 4 games by the NFL. Rams wide receiver Stedman Bailey received a 4-game suspension Tuesday afternoon for violating the league's policy on substance abuse.
Well, I never even heard of the guy, so... whatever substance he chose, obviously that shows it's more important to him than playing football games, and more important than his teammates, more important than feeding his family, more important than, being successful, more important than, having all that in his life, because obviously the drink or the drug is still more important than where he gets suspended for, a fourth of his season. 25% of his contract, his guaranteed pay out the window. They take all that from you in the NFL. And guess what? What's going to happen? When he gets back from his suspension, they're just going to cut him loose, okay? Because there's no room for players in the locker room that get suspended for 4 games for substance abuse. It's clear what the NFL expects from you. It's clear what you can and cannot do if you choose not to listen to what they're telling you and you do it anyway, then you shouldn't have a job anyway. So,
Jim Plunkett, I believe it's Jim. Yeah, it is Jim Plunkett. He says a fresh start could revive Kaepernick. Jim Plunkett knows exactly how a struggling quarterback can benefit from a fresh start.
Yep.
And he thinks a change of scenery could be just what Colin Kaepernick and Robert Griffin III need.
Sure. I don't disagree with him. You know, Jim Plunkett was a great quarterback, Heisman-winning trophy quarterback. He
Sexy quarterback?
He was a decent quarterback, a good quarterback, floating around the league. And once he got with the Raiders, he won a Super Bowl. So I think, the Colin Kaepernick experience is over in San Francisco. And then RG3's been over for a couple of years now. So I think both teams, Washington and San Francisco, will do what's best in the interests of both parties and part ways, whether it's trade or an outright release. I think, things don't always end well. That's life. Sometimes they don't end well. And, you got to move on. It's just like a divorce. 50, half of America gets in a divorce, 50 out of 50. In the
50
NFL,
out of 100.
50 out of, 50 and 50. 50, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so 50 out of 50, okay.
50 and 50.
Okay, I get it now.
Okay.
Well, back to the tape.
So, in the NFL, same way. I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not that they hate each other. It's not. It's time to move on and see how you can benefit from having that person, that talent on your team, and get somebody else who can help your team. I think there's a lot of different offenses that would love to have Kaepernick and RG3, because there's still a lot of bad quarterbacks out there. Johnny Manziel is not an NFL quarterback. Philadelphia with Bradford, I mean, he is very timid. There's a lot of different quarterbacks out there that wish they had the talent those two guys had. Now, we'll see what happens, what they do, and where they go from there. Both guys still have a lot of talent. They obviously don't fit with their current team, and I think both teams will move on.
All right, Rams signed veteran wide receiver Welker after Bailey ban. The St. Louis Rams signed veteran receiver Wes Welker on Monday, hours after the NFL suspended wideout Stedman Bailey for violating its policy on substance abuse.
Obviously, Wes Welker, in my opinion, Hall of Fame receiver. I don't know if he'll be in the Hall of Fame, but he should be, in my opinion. There's a reason why he hasn't been playing. Is because his head is going to be mush. I mean, he took so many hits and played so many times and shouldn't have played because the concussion protocol wasn't in, and he's a great receiver. He did a lot for New England. He helped out Denver for about a year and a half, and then was just a non-event because he wasn't involved. They cut him. He was on the street. So I guess if he got cleared by the doctors and he's ready to play, I mean, I don't know how much he's going to help St. Louis. I mean, I know getting Wes Welker is like, okay, but Wes Welker is not the same Wes Welker that you knew about him 4 or 5 years ago. He's a good receiver, and he's one hit away from dying. That's the bottom line, and
Dead.
Yeah, and if that's a chance he's willing to take, then I'm sure St. Louis has no problem giving him the veteran minimum.
He needs the money, see? All right, Mike McCarthy, quote, kind of like Packers sideline scuffle. A day after the sideline scuffle between Packers defensive players late in Sunday's loss to the Panthers, the team was taking a nothing-to-see-here attitude about the incident.
I think McCarthy saying that, I don't think he truly believes that. You never want to see that in your sidelines. It looks bad. Makes your organization look bad. Makes the head coach look bad. But if he's viewing it, I mean, you look at the other side, he's using it as positive, which could be, you look at all three of those guys, they all three have very big egos. All three of them think, the best at their current position, and they're all three very, very good players. So, I guess, if you want to look at it like, it's progress, that they're pissed off at each other, that's fine, but there's other ways to show that instead of, punching each other on the sidelines, and because that's a true emotion. What you see out there is true emotion in the football. When these guys are getting in scuffles on the sideline, that's how they really feel at that point in time, and they can't hide it. So I would look at it, if I was in the executive or in the management office, as a bad thing. If Coach McCarthy's looking at it as a good thing, then if it works, great. Because once they start winning, they could all be fighting on the sideline. No one's going to give a fuck about it. We're not going to be talking about it. We're only talking about this because they're losing.
All right. Gabbert to remain 49ers starter versus Seahawks. The Niners will stay with Blaine Gabbert under center when they next play at Seattle after their bye week.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they beat it in Atlantic. They beat a playoff team at home. Good for them. 17-16. Gabbert, had a game-winning drive, and I'm happy to see San Francisco beat a good team. And Blaine Gabbert isn't Joe Montana, and he's not Steve Young, and he's not the next coming. But right now, he is moving the ball for the offense and keeping the defense off the field. So that's what his job is. He did his job well. They won the game. So it shows you that you can still beat a team that's better than you by playing a 4-quarter game and just keeping it simple, moving the ball, controlling the offense, making plays when you have to make plays, and then the defense making plays, and you'll squeak out whether it's ugly or whether it's pretty, it doesn't matter.
All right. Cutler sets Bears record with 138th touchdown pass. Chicago Bears quarterback Jay Cutler broke his tie with Hall of Famer Sid Luckman for the franchise record for touchdown passes by tossing numbers 138 and 139 in Monday night's win.
He played well. I mean, that was actually the first time I've seen Cutler play a full game this year. He's Cutler's Cutler, and he's never going to change. And they've had many different quarterback coaches. I know his offensive coordinator right now. I knew his previous quarterbacks coach. I coached with him, at University of Connecticut. Cutler has an absolute cannon. I remember watching him when he was at Vanderbilt. He's got an absolute cannon for him, just a cannon. But there's a lot of times when Cutler shows, and he'll show you, he's very emotionally, where his emotion on his sleeve is that he just doesn't give a shit. And he just starts chucking the ball up there. When the Jay Cutler that you see that is driving his team down to beat San Diego on Monday Night Football, the Jay Cutler that made that unbelievable pass to, the kid from the Zach, whatever his name is, the tight end. What a great pass, what a great catch. That's the Jay Cutler that Chicago drafted. I mean, that's the Jay Cutler, that Denver drafted. He shows more bad than good, but he's still, when you look at your quarterbacks around the NFL, he's still a bad Jay Cutler is still better than a lot of starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So, you just got to go with him and work with him. Hopefully, he can just play well and help the team win. Congratulations. I mean, the Bears have never been known as a quarterback team anyway. That good for him. It's a reward. It's a recognition. Maybe Cutler's an expressive.
Yeah.
But good for him. It's always good to have records.
All right. The Ravens' odds of making the playoffs, same as those of Donald Trump becoming president. Despite the long odds the Ravens are facing, John Harbaugh says he's counting on his team making history. Supposedly, there is a 9% chance that the Ravens make the playoffs, and also a 9% chance that Donald Trump becomes president.
That hurts, because I want Trump to win. Baltimore, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not a good team. They lose Steve Smith. They don't have their defense isn't what it normally is. It just goes to show you that you can't be good all the time. And I know I'm harping on New England, but a lot of teams say we're in rebuilding. New England's been rebuilding for the last 6 or 7 years, but they just continue to win. They never have the same roster. It's always they're trying out a new guy here and a new guy there. They're always rebuilding. Right now, Baltimore's rebuilding, and they just didn't have a good year. Nothing worked out. Sometimes you have those years, and you just got to get better while you're still losing. And I know it's tough, and I know it sucks, but there's always room to improve. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. If they don't, they get a good draft pick. They can make some moves in the offseason. And they still have a core group of guys where they can build around and do better next year. I'm more upset about hearing Trump only has 9% chance to win. That's what I'm voting for. So I'm upset about that.
Colts quarterback Andrew Luck to miss 2 to 6 weeks with lacerated kidney.
Yeah, it's not good. He's been hurt all year. He hasn't been the same guy. Actually, they're probably a better team with Hasselbeck. I just think, once again, it's another organization. They had a big win against Denver, thank God. But even if they're going to win that division at a default, I don't think they'll beat anybody in the playoffs. I don't ever see them going into Pittsburgh or New England or Cincinnati or anywhere, or Denver and winning a football game with or without Andrew Luck. And then I think they're going to get rid of the head coach. I think the general manager is going to get fired, and I think that's another place where they're going to start all over. So Andrew Luck is a franchise quarterback. He'll never go anywhere. So, if he's out 2 to 6 weeks, they got no advantage to rushing him back.
Okay.
You have cookies on your nose.
I do?
Yeah.
Are they gone?
Yeah.
All right. And I think that does it for news. I'm just trying to get up here.
Yeah, that's about right.
Steelers, as far as time goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're not at the top of the page yet. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
A great topic that you love talking about.
Okay.
You're going to love it. As soon as I hear it say these words, you're going to laugh.
Okay.
Adrian Peterson on pace to become first 30-year-old rushing champ since 2004. Adrian Peterson is leading the league with 758 rushing yards through 8 games, 37 yards ahead of the Falcons' Devontae Freeman.
I love the on pace thing. It doesn't mean anything. Being on pace is great. It's great to I'm on pace to do this. I'm on pace to do that. Until you actually fucking do it, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. He's having a great year. He's on pace to do this. He's on pace to do that. It doesn't mean anything because in order for him to have to do that, he's got to fulfill a goal in achievement. Anytime you rush over 2,000 yards, or you're in discussion of rushing over 2,000 yards, that's a lot of yards. I mean, that's a lot of yards. 16 game season with the coming off of having a year and a half of beating and whipping his kid. Even coming off an injury, he's still a great back. But if he does, God bless, whatever the fuck. I mean, but if he's on pace to do it, more power to him.
I know what you meant to say, but you said after a year and a half off of whipping his kid.
That's what I said, whipping the shit out of his kid.
It meant like, oh, okay, all right. I heard it as after a year and a half of whipping his kid. That's what I heard it as.
He's back after spending a year and a half whipping his kid.
He's back after spending a year and a half
whipping his kid.
What does that say? He whipped his kid for a year and a half.
Yes.
He didn't whip his kid for a year and a half.
Well, I was making a joke.
Oh, all right. I get it now.
Come on. How long have we been doing this show?
Starks overtakes Lacey for Packers lead running back role. This was 15 minutes ago. James Starks has overtaken the struggling Eddie Lacy for the number 1 running back role in the Packers offense, according to Coach Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, it's the right move. Starks is playing well. Lacy, I got an email, I think, from CHCH. I don't think Lacy, he's really dropped it. I wouldn't play him. I think he is done for the season. I agree that you got to play Starks over Lacy.
All right. It's time for transactions.
All right,
Our favorite fucking transactions. You ready?
Let's get this
All right.
going.
Thursday transactions. He hates this part of the program. Thursday, November 5th. Pittsburgh claimed wide receiver Jacoby Jones off waivers from San Diego.
Yeah, he's good. He's a very good receiver.
Giants placed defensive end Owa Odiguzua on injured reserve designated for return. Signed tight end Jerome Cunningham from the practice squad.
No.
Detroit fired President Tom Lewand and General Manager Martin Mayhew. Named Vice President of Pro Personnel Sheldon White, Acting General Manager, and Allison Makey, Interim Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time coming. I'm glad Martha stepped up and made the right necessary changes. So, yeah.
All right, Friday the 6th, Buffalo signed wide receiver Walter Powell to the practice squad, released offensive tackle Chris Martin from the practice squad.
No.
Falcons waived safety Desmond Southward, signed cornerback Akeem King from the practice squad. All right, Saturday the 7th, Washington signed linebacker Houston Bates from the practice squad, placed linebacker Jackson Jeffcoat on injured reserve.
No.
Tennessee signed cornerback B.W. Webb from the practice squad, waived running back Terrence West.
Terrence West? Decent running back. He's been flipping and flopping around teams. He'll get picked up very soon.
Jets signed safety Rontez Miles from the practice squad, waived offensive lineman Jarvis Harrison.
No.
Giants activated defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul, placed linebacker John Beeson on injured reserve.
Well, John Beeson was a very good linebacker that played with Carolina for many years. Obviously, OC coming back without one, or JPP coming back with just one hand. They need it badly. We'll see.
Just in time for the Patriots, too.
Well, that's fine. I mean, he hasn't played. He hadn't been in a training camp, and he's on an incentive-based contract, so.
He's on Mandingo-based contract.
Yes. So, yeah.
Goomba Baba. All right, Patriots activated offensive lineman Brian Stork from the injured reserve return list. Place offensive lineman Ryan Wendell on injured reserve.
Yeah, Stork actually went from center to right tackle the other night. So.
Yep. Dolphins activated running back J.E. from the injured reserve return list. Wave the center Sam Brenner.
Yeah, the kid's a good running back. He'll definitely help him out. I know. They were very excited about him coming in this year. My phone's about to die. So
all right, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, Buffalo activated cornerback Leotis McLovein.
That's Leotis McLovein.
McLovein, but yeah.
I know he's
from the reserve non-football injury list. Placed wide receiver Percy Harvin on injured reserve.
Percy Harvin, done.
Sunday, nothing. Monday, Washington. Signed wide receiver LaRon Bird, linebacker Carlos Fields, and defensive lineman Anthony Johnson to the practice squad. Released wide receiver Corey Washington from the practice squad.
No.
Tampa Bay activated offensive tackle DeMar Dotson from the injured reserve return list. Wave cornerback Tim Jennings.
No.
Rams signed wide receiver was Walker. We talked about that. San Diego placed center guard Chris Watt on injured reserve. Signed guard Craig Watts from the practice squad.
No.
Eagles placed linebacker Jordan Hicks on injured reserve. That's a big loss for them.
Yeah, I think the play right before he intercepted and took it to the house.
I fell asleep during that game.
That was the last play of the year.
Jets signed offensive lineman Jarvis Harrison to the practice squad.
No.
Patriots placed running back Deion Lewis on injured reserve. We talked about that. Colts waived cornerback Tony Carter, placed defensive tackle Henry Anderson on injured reserve.
No.
Lions placed defensive tackle Andre Fluian on injured reserve. Browns waived linebacker Jason DiManchi and defensive back Deontay Saunders. I said no before I finished. Signed offensive lineman Garth Gerhardt to the practice squad.
No.
Bills released wide receiver Titus Davis from the practice squad. Signed cornerback Sammy Seamster to the practice squad.
No.
All right, yesterday. Redskins placed center Corey Lichtensteiger on injured reserve, designated for return. Signed center Brian De La Puenta.
Oh, I know DLP. He was with, as a rookie with San Francisco. Great guy. Great player. He'll do well there.
All right, Seahawks released tight end Rashawn Allen and defensive tackle Robert Thomas from the practice squad. Signed tight end Harold Spears and defensive end Julius Wormsley-Renton. And then out of Washington, the Seattle Seahawks have released tight end Rashawn Allen and defensive tackle Robert Thomas and signed tight end Harold Spears and defensive end Julius Wormsley to the 10-man practice squad. The team announced this afternoon.
No.
Jets place kicker Nick Folk on injured reserve. Signed place kicker Randy Bullock. No. Nick Folks, their field goal kicker.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Giants play defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins on injured reserve. Signed defensive tackle Montori Hughes from the practice squad and defensive tackle Lewis Nixon, linebacker Nico Johnson, the practice squad.
No.
Patriots released wide receiver Austin Hill and defensive back Floyd Raven Sr. from the practice squad. Signed offensive lineman Kevin Milton and offensive lineman Torian Wilson to the practice squad.
No.
Vikings placed linebacker Audie Cole on injured reserve. Signed linebacker Jason Trunsick.
No.
Dolphins waived running back Jonas Gray, re-signed Sam Brenner.
No, there's Jonas Gray again.
Yep. Chiefs waived wide receiver Frankie Hammond.
No.
Jaguars released offensive tackle Tyrus Thompson from the practice squad, signed guard Kadeem Edwards to the practice squad.
No.
Packers released defensive tackle Justin Hamilton, signed defensive tackle Eric Kroom to the practice squad.
No.
Lions released running back Marion Grice from the practice squad, claimed defensive tackle C.J. Wilson off waivers from Oakland, signed offensive tackle Tyrus Thompson to the practice squad.
No.
Browns waived running back Robert Turbin, signed offensive lineman Darian Miller from the practice squad, activated cornerback Charles Gaines from injured reserve, and running back Glenn Winston from the reserve non-football injury list. Bears signed wide receiver Deontay Thompson from the practice squad and offensive tackle Martin Wallace to the practice squad.
No.
And then today, Titans waived quarterback Charlie Whitehurst, activated running back David Cobb from injured reserve return, signed linebacker J.R. Tavai and tight end Kevin Green to the practice squad.
Yeah, Whitehurst used to be a good quarterback.
Jets place guard Willie Colon on injured reserve, activated cornerback D. Milner injured reserve return.
Yeah, Cologne's a very good offensive lineman.
Yep, Browns signed linebacker Jason DiManchi and defensive back Deontay Saunders to the practice squad, released tight end Brian Leonhardt from the practice squad. And Cardinals waived injured cornerback Cariel Brooks, signed cornerback Robert Nelson Jr. from the practice squad.
No.
All right, so let's go to your picks over the against the spread.
You're gonna have to pull it up.
Your phone's dead?
Yeah, I was trying to.
Okay, all right.
It was like
so where do I go?
Go to ESPN.com.
Oh, the spread's right there?
Yeah.
All right, ESPN.com. Well, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
So where do I go
schedule.
now? Oh, it's right there?
Or it scores.
Scores? Oh, the line's right there. Yeah, you're right.
NFL, yeah.
All right, so let's go here. Let's go to NFL, see. Martha. Martha.
This is the first time I'm looking at it, so.
Martha. All right, Bills. Tomorrow night's game, Bills against the Jets. Jets are home. It looks like Jets are favored by 2.5.
Jets minus
2.5. Yeah.
2.5.
So Jets are favored by 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want?
Jets.
Oh, Jets. Okay,
Yeah.
2.5. Sunday, Lions and Packers. Lions are 1-7. Packers are 6-2. Packers are at home. Packers are favored by 13.
Against Detroit.
Yeah.
Green Bay minus 11.5.
13.
Oh, it's 13?
It's 13.
2 touchdowns? Yeah, Green Bay minus 13. They'll win by 2 touchdowns.
All right. Cowboys against the Buccaneers. Cowboys 2-6. Buccaneers 3-5. Buccaneers are at home. Buccaneers are favored by 1.
I think the Cowboys will win. Take the Cowboys.
All right. Against the spread.
Yes.
Okay.
+1, right?
+1 for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Panthers, Titans. Panthers are 8-0. Titans 2-6. Titans are at home, coming off that win in overtime. Carolina's favored on the road by 5.5.
Take all day. Carolina minus 5.5.
Bears against the Rams. Bears 3-5. Rams 4-4. Rams are at home. Rams are favored by 7.5.
Take Chicago +7.
All right, 7.5.
7.5.
Okay. Saints 4-5 against the Redskins. 3-5. Redskins are home. It's even.
Saints, New Orleans.
All right. Dolphins are 3-5. Eagles 4-4. Eagles are at home. Philadelphia's favored by 7.
Philly minus 7.
All right. Browns 2-7 versus Steelers 5-4. Steelers are at home and they're favored by 4.5.
It's gonna be tough. Steelers minus 4.5.
All right. Jaguars 2-6 versus the Ravens 2-6. Ravens are at home. Ravens are favored by 5.5.
Jacksonville
That's
plus
all,
a 5.5.
It's all day. Vikings 6-2 against the Raiders, who are 4-4. Raiders are at home. Raiders are favored by 3, so it's a pick 'em.
Minnesota.
Patriots 8-0 versus the Giants at 5-4. Giants are home. Patriots are still favored on the road by 8.5.
Giants plus 8.5.
Yep. Chiefs 3-5 versus the Broncos 7-1. Broncos are at home. Broncos are favored by 5.5.
Broncos minus 5.5.
All right, and then Sunday night's game: Arizona 6-2 versus Seattle 4-4. Seattle's at home. Seattle's favored by 3 in a pick 'em. It says 3, so it's a pick 'em.
Oh, I'm taking Arizona.
All right, Arizona plus the 3. Or,
I thought you said it was a pick 'em.
well, it's Seattle's -3. Seattle's favored at home. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
a pick
so
'em.
no plus
Oh.
3.
Seattle's -3.
Yeah, so
Arizona plus the 3. That's what I
Yeah,
said. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Monday night's game: Houston 3-5 versus Cincinnati 8-0.
Oh, that should be a doozy.
Cincinnati's at home. Cincinnati's favored by 12.
I'll take Houston plus the 12.
Okay, now we're just going into the picks.
Yeah,
Let's get
we're
a
just
quick
going into the picks.
quick piece of paper. All right. You got a pen? Of course not.
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay,
But
good.
Actually, I don't know if I need to get this one back. Take that.
Well, whatever. I'll just give it right back. It's a marker. It's not a
Whatever.
pen. All right.
Well, it's something
Bills,
right
Jets.
with.
Who do you want? All right. So Patrick and me.
Jets.
I'm taking the Bills.
That's a loss.
You think so?
Yeah.
You want to bet?
Sure.
All right. We're going to bet $20 Buffalo wins straight up.
Against the Jets.
Yes, at home.
I'll bet you $100.
$100 the Jets win,
Yes.
and $100 that the Bills win.
Yes.
Deal.
Okay.
We just shook on camera, see? All right. Lions, Packers, who do you got?
Packers.
Yep. Okay, Green Bay. And then I have Green Bay. All right, Cowboys, Buccaneers, who do you have?
Cowboys.
I also have the Cowboys. All right, Panthers, Titans, who do you have?
Panthers.
Easily. All right, Bears, Rams, who do you have?
Rams.
I'm going to take Chicago. They're on a hot streak. Not really.
Not really.
But, whoops.
Yeah, they are.
You took the Rams. I took Chicago.
Correct.
All right. So that's a game, and then that's a game that's different. Okay, next. Saints, Redskins.
Saints.
Yep. Dolphins, Eagles.
Eagles.
Yep. Browns, Steelers.
Steelers.
Yep. Jaguars, Ravens.
Jaguars.
Yep. Vikings, Raiders.
Vikings.
I'm going to go with Oakland at
Nice.
home. Patriots, Giants.
Pats.
I pray to God. Chiefs, Broncos.
Broncos.
Yeah. And then Cardinals Seahawks.
Cardinals.
Okay, I'm taking Seattle. Just like Green Bay, Arizona's lost its last 2. Seattle's managed to get back to 500 after starting.
Seattle hasn't lost their last.
No, Arizona has.
No, they haven't.
They haven't?
No.
I thought they were 6-0.
They lost to. They lost to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but weren't they 6-0? And
before they had a bye week last week. The week before that, they beat Cleveland at Cleveland.
I thought the week before that, Cleveland won in overtime against Baltimore.
No, 2 weeks ago. Do you want to bet?
No, but
okay.
I mean, you see your pause. All right, whatever. They've lost 2 of the last 3 then. Easily. They were undefeated at one point.
Yes.
So let's assume they're 5-0. They lose. They win, they lose.
So they lost to
2 of the last
Pittsburgh.
3. Yeah.
Who else did they lose to?
Well, they're 6-2 now. So
I understand.
So if they're 5-0,
yes,
they've lost 2 of their last 3. Whoever they lost to is irrelevant. They've lost 2 of their last.
Were
3.
they 5-0?
I'm pretty sure they were. Yeah.
Fine.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were. All right. Anyway, all right. Arizona, Seattle in the last game. Houston, Cincinnati. This is easy. Houston, Cincinnati. Who do you got?
Cincinnati.
Yeah. All right. So there's 3 games on the docket. Jacksonville, Chicago. Right? Is that who it is?
No.
Jacksonville.
St. Louis, Chicago.
Yeah, Jacksonville and the.
Jacksonville.
What the fuck is J mean?
J mean the Jets.
Oh, Jets. Okay. Jets, Bills.
Yes, Jets.
Jets and Bills. St. Louis and Chicago, and then Oakland and who are they playing?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. There you go. All right, folks.
All right, guys. Wish me luck. Got a big test on Friday.
Test for McLovein on
Big
Friday,
test.
and he's going to go home and study it. And we have a $100 bet on this Jets and Bills game, so we'll find out tomorrow night.
He can just give it to me right now.
We'll see.
Okay.
What would you say, real quick? What would you say if if the Jets lose? What would you say?
Then I was wrong.
And you would gladly hand over the monies on camera.
Have I ever not given?
No, that's true. But would you? You're so passionate. Would you go 300?
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
You would bet. Would you go 1,000
on the Jets?
Yes. Really?
Yes.
That's how sure you are.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna stick at 100 because I'm not that sure. But
Let's go 300.
No, I'm too scared. I think Buffalo will win though.
I don't see.
Am I 100% positive? Obviously not.
No, I'm not either.
I'd bet 1,000. But you're more positive that the Jets will win than I am that Buffalo will beat the Jets.
On a Thursday night.
Jets are home.
Yeah, Thursday night at home.
Yeah.
The Jets are at home. They're gonna fucking piss, and it's just gonna hit.
So what do you think the score is going to be? Jets 27, Bills 10? Or do you think it's going to be a nail biter to the end?
It's going to be 20-10, 20-7.
Really?
Yeah.
Bills aren't going to score shit. Tyrod Tyson's back, by the way.
Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor,
yeah. It doesn't matter.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys.